Hello, welcome to Zines and Roger. I am here to talk to you about Wonderwool Wales. Well. Biggest yarn show I've probably ever been to. And I went yesterday, made a weekend of it. And yeah, how fabulous, how fantastic. I don't know where to start. I do have plenty of yarn to show you. So I've got a bonus here. This is the yarn I bought yesterday, and then this is the yarn I bought at Unravel back in February, and I didn't do a video then, and I should have done. I'm going to do a bonus yarn haul showing off of yarn purchasing, because why not? So that's going to happen in just a moment. It's very exciting. But first, hang on, introductions. Welcome to Zines and Roger. My name is Rosina. I'm a crochet designer from the southwest of the UK. Wonderwool Wales is a 3-hour drive for me. And as I say, I made a weekend of it. So I did an overnight stay with a friend, because there's no way I'm going to drive 3 hours, do a yarn show, and then drive back 3 hours. It would be exhausting, which I know to some of you 3-hour driving probably isn't a lot, but for me, I mean, I tend to switch off after about 45 minutes, so 3 hours is quite an achievement. Anyway, my name is Rosina. Have I said that? Can't remember. And normally I do talk about crochet, but this is just going to be about Wonderwool Wales yarn show as a whole, and I don't think it's going to discriminate against any knitters, so as weavers, spinners. Basically, yarn is yarn, isn't it? So let's just celebrate that, and also celebrate the, well, I'm kind of in awe, overwhelmed, brain busted, and a little bit like, it was like being a deer in headlights yesterday. I've never seen a yarn show quite so big in all my life. I've been to a few. I probably will forget some stuff, I think, because I wanted to remember all the little details, like the rolling Welsh hills that are just so green right now in a sunny April, end of April. The bikers that clearly just want to go for a Sunday drive around these rolling hills, and the roads meander along when you get into Wales. Completely different to all the motorways you take to get there. Bikers everywhere, and I don't mean cyclists, I mean brum bikers. The sheep everywhere, which is cute. The village that we stayed in as our little stop off, the visit to Hay-on-Wye the day before, to have a look at the bookshops and see if we could find the wool shop that I thought there was, but unfortunately there wasn't. But we did find lots of books, loads of knitting books, Honiton lace books by the dozen, knitting books, no crochet books. Oh no, that's not true. One crochet book we found, but we both had it. Vintage store, which was amazing, and a couple of nice little areas and loads of lovely places to eat and stuff like that. I drove to Wales on Saturday, drove through Wales on Saturday morning to get to Hay-on-Wye. Or is Hay-on-Wye in Wales? Is it on the, it's on the very edge, and I can't remember which side it's on. I'm so sorry, I don't wish to insult anyone. I was going to check on the map before I started, but I haven't. We stayed in Hereford overnight, about 30 minutes from Hay, in a place called Eardisland, or Eardisland. I'm not sure what, but it sounds like almost a really old-fashioned town, village that should be right next door to a fairy tale land or something like that, and it looks the part too. But it was stunning, and I'm gonna share some pictures with you. Take a look at the cherry blossom by the river with a pretty bridge, and then oh my gosh, it was just, that was probably 8:30, 9 a.m. Sunday morning. How pretty though. Oh my gosh, just so nice. It doesn't matter anyway. What I don't want to do is waffle on too much, so just know that it was a very pretty place to stay. Perhaps not entirely convenient for Wonderwool Wales because it was a 45-minute drive to the Royal Welsh Showground, which, yeah, 45 minutes, but 45 minutes of really nice roads to drive. It's actually fun driving. And yesterday I was driving to a different country. Wales is a different country. So I get excited driving over the Severn Bridge. And so much so, bearing in mind I'm in the car on my own and there I'm going, hello Wales, to nobody apart from to Wales itself. I went with Michelle, who is Dora Explored, or Dora Does, depending on which platform you find her on, so Instagram or her infamous blog. Michelle is an extraordinary crochet blogger, so if you're a crochet enthusiast then you'll probably already know. Oh, my storage is low, hang on. Sorry, I can't remember what I was talking about now. That took ages to delete like 1,000 items from my phone. I went with Michelle, you'll know her as Dora Explored. We stayed in, a chalet lodge type thing, almost like in somebody's back garden, but it was really nice. I wouldn't want to stay there for a whole week, but for a place to rest our weary heads so that we were fully rested to do a full day of yarn shopping the next day, it was perfect. And I mean, we spent the evening, we ate a nice dinner and did some crochet. I'll show you what I was working on. Shall I do that? Shall I treat this sort of like a half Wonderwool Wales overview of my day, and then also sort of almost like a podcast where I'll show you what I'm working on. So in my bag, so this is like shameless self-promotion, in my bag, which is called Wildcard, if you haven't seen it already, and it's a Crochet Market bag. It's a pattern that is available to buy, has charts and everything. In my bag, this was, I've taken this to a couple of different yarn shows now, and I know that I am fully shopped out when it's full, when it's overflowing with the good stuff, the good skeins. But for now, it's got my actually, this is a couple of whips I'm working on at the moment, and I'll show you because actually they're relevant to yarn shows in other ways too. But the other thing that's in there, I'm just going to chuck my bag on the floor, is just some plain undyed yarn that Faye has given me, Faye-Hughes, who on YouTube has come back as Brew from the Bothy, a crochet podcast that's a 30-minute every other week podcast, so you might want to check that out if you haven't seen it. But Faye has handed over 5 lace weight undyed skeins of alpaca, and it's 70% alpaca and 30% wool. I'm going to dye this up at some point, probably holding it double with another yarn, maybe some floof, who knows, I don't know. But I think when we spoke about it in February, Faye said that I think this has been in her stash for about, I don't know, I'm just going to say 5 years, a long time. I am in no rush to do anything with that. One day I will get my dyes out because I've got like maybe 8 or 9 different acid dye colours, and a sort of like a cooking pot that I'm not going to use for cooking anymore. I'm gonna dye some yarn at some point. I've had a play around with it before. It's quite interesting. So that Faye handed that to me on yesterday at the yarn show, because she was working on the Arbon Textiles stand, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But here's this is what I took with me. In this bag is what I didn't work on. This is a whip. in this bag. So I made this bag with fabric I bought from Wales about, how old's my son? My youngest son is 12. I was pregnant with him. Was I? We'd stayed near. Thing is, we've done, sorry, I knew this would happen. I'm going to go off on tangents. I have been on 2 holidays with the husband's family to Wales. Or have I? We went to somewhere near Hay-on-Wye once. That's when I was pregnant, but there was no fabric. I didn't buy that from there. I want to say it was like, it was a small village, and I bought a Silvac plant holder as well, which is gorgeous, still got it. There was a little ruined castle there, and it was very near the National Wool Museum in Wales. Is it the same town as a fabric shop? It was a really good fabric shop. And this is a major tangent, so I'm not, that'll be the end of that one. Let's just go into the bag. I may or may not have been pregnant. It may or may not therefore have been 12 years ago that I made that bag, bought that fabric. But inside it is the Sophie, a really bad Sophie shawl, not a scarf, because the scarf I feel is a little bit, for me anyway, a waste of time. It's not useful to have like a piece of string around my neck. So I've gone for the Sophie shawl, which is much deeper. I started making this 3 years ago, and here we are 3 years later, and I'm still working on it. But look, I didn't work on this at all last weekend, but I did do, say, from about here, I don't have progress keepers or anything, but I'm going to guess about here to here. So a good chunk of it I worked on, about there to there. I worked on the week before last when I went on holiday to Northumberland. So I did a lot of knitting when I was there. It was almost like I didn't want to crochet because I was on holiday, and a lot of my crochet stuff is design work. So knitting is now going to be my just for me stuff. So whenever I need a just for me project, I think probably it's going to be knitting. So therefore, I don't have, a lot of my knitting needles are either cheap and nasty. These are all right, these are good ones. Most of them are cheap and nasty, or they're straights from my nana. And I love circulars because I'm less likely to have the knitting fall off the needles, so I'm now a circular girl. Like I said, I started this for 3 years, and for the longest time it was just this, and I don't remember if I've shared this before, but I made a massive balls up here and tried to teach myself how to pick up stitches, and instead of ripping back, I mean, look how close I was to the beginning. I could have just ripped it out and started again, but I wanted it to be a lesson in picking up drop stitches. But I just got worse and worse the more I tried to tidy it up and make it better. It just got uglier and uglier. So from one teeny tiny drop stitch, I started pulling it down and down to try and chase it. Terrible, terrible. But I reckon I could be done so quickly, because I'm actually I'm not a slow knitter anymore, but neither am I an expert knitter by any stretch. Yet I'm more ambitious about actually improving my skills right now. So this video is about Wonderwool Wales. It's true, but no, I didn't work on it when I was there. But I did work on these 2 things. We'll go back to the festival in a minute. So I'm working on She Sells Seashells, a cardigan that is designed by me, and I am that far in. I don't know if it's my favourite wool to use. I bought it from Linda Hobby, which I can see me buying from again. I've bought from them before in the past, and I thought, why not buy some new to me yarn. it's from Linda Hobby. It was on sale, so I treated myself. It's a very, very, very woolly wool, but I think this will soften up once I've washed and blocked it. But it is quite crunchy. Not heinously so, but still I wouldn't necessarily recommend it right now. Let me see what happens once it's finished. But this is She Sells Seashells, and it's a cardigan by me, and it's a 4-ply. This is a 4-ply, is it? I think a 4-ply yarn and a 3mm hook. So I worked on that, and then when there was one bit where I think I lost a stitch, and couldn't be bothered to do the sums in the evening, so I waited until the morning to find out. So I put that to one side, and then I started working on this. And this is the one that I think is kind of festival relevant, because I bought this yarn. This is River Knits Neen, called Grasshopper. I think grasshopper in not my language. This is 100% British blue-faced Leicester, and I love BFL. I really, really like it. It's lovely yarn to work with. This is 400 meters per skein, and I believe it's grasshopper, 4-ply. Very nice indeed. This is going to be a cowl. This is like my favourite green in the whole wide world. This is the perfect green in my eyes. I'm about ready to do decreases so that it will be a rectangle that I can then fold in half and join down the end. It will have an edging on it as well, and it'll be just like a cute little cowl. And oh, I love the green. Love the green. It's fab. It's actually a design that I came up with to submit to let's say an international magazine, because they messaged me to say, please could I submit some ideas. No brief needed, just throw some ideas our way, which I did. And they said, their reply after the deadline was like, we know we asked you to come up with some ideas, but actually we don't like them, so sorry. Which I thought was a bit, well, I was a bit hurt, but not massively hurt, just a bit like, oh, okay, well, maybe if I'd had a brief, it would have been a better outcome. But the outcome being is that I'm going to do the design anyway, and I'm really enjoying it. And actually, the Barking Mad scarf that I did also is a design that came out of my rejection from that magazine. I've never actually bought the magazine before. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm curious to see what. I don't think it's been released yet. That particular crochet magazine. Anyway, so this I bought at Unravel festival in not this year but last year. I've only just started working on this, so it's taken me a year. I remember saying to the River Knits couple, husband and wife team, I said to them this February, oh, I brought your yarn with me to start as a new whip, and that was in February. So that's probably roughly when I started this, and considering it's May next week, it's not been a quick project, but I'm just taking it slowly and enjoying it rather than trying to do a rush job. And I can't get over how stunning that green is. It's just so beautiful. And the yarn feels really nice to work with as well. So I'm going to do a double knit version as well at some point, I think, because I think it would look really nice. But also I've wound up already my my yarn to do a fluffy version too, which is going to be main colour in this lovely pale pink, which is from Zakami yarns, which is, love Zakami yarns. They were at Unravel this year and last year, and yes, I bought this from Unravel last year, so February in 2024. And I also bought at the same festival an Eden Cottage yarns mini. Let's see if I can get the labels out. So this is going to be my edging for the fluffy version. It's going to be those two colours together, which I think are really pretty. And this mini is going to go with the green, but I can't remember where this one's from. Possibly Somerset Yarns. Possibly. Oh no, actually no, it's not. It's not, because I used that in something else. This is Rivernets as well. But Zakami yarns for the one that is, I think the Zakami, I bought the mohair and the 4-ply fingering weight yarn, sorry. They're both from the festival. Baby Siri alpaca is the fluff. 75 and then 25% silk. Ooh. And then the Eden Cottage yarn mini I bought, which has its own cute little label with a sheep on it, is a high twist. I love a high twist. It's 4-ply. Brimham high twist mini skein, colourway Hoster for that pale green. And then I think I used for the fluff drops kid silk mohair. So sort of relevant, albeit maybe slightly tenuous. There's the swatch. That's double knit, see, I really like it in double knit. When that comes out, who knows? I just want to enjoy working on it quite slowly, because actually this year's been so busy that I'm getting a bit annoyed with churning stuff out, and I just want to kind of slow down a bit and enjoy the process. So those are what were in my Mamie and Florrie bag, because I bought stuff from them in, it's Amy is Mamie, I think it's Mamie and Florrie, but I've been saying up until now Mamie and Florrie, because I thought Mamie rhymed with Amy, but I might be wrong, I don't know. Let us talk about Wonderwool Wales again, because it's fresh in my brain, and I don't want to leave this video any longer, because what happens if I forget all the good stuff? I've already forgotten what I've spoken about. I think I've done like rolling hills, check, intense motorbike gangs on the road at the same time, and just like just go past. They were probably having a lovely day. What else was there? The place we stayed at was stunning. Done that. So we arrived, and it is in a really lovely location actually. I'd like to explore that area more. Maybe I'll go back one day and we'll book a place to stay nearer the venue, because it looked like a really nice town. I think we must have got there about 11, and then we stayed right until the end, if not almost outstaying our welcome actually, all the way till 4:30. And I think we might have left about 10 to 5 o'clock, because we spent a good 10-15 minutes taking photographs of Michelle's new design out in some grass near some trees, and that needed to be done. So I was still home by 8 o'clock though. Just such a lovely weekend. Anyway, I've never been to Wonderwool Wales before. I have been told several times that it's one of the best yarn shows in the UK, if not the best wool show in the UK, because of its size, because of its location, because of its duration. I mean, these guys know what they've been doing, because I think they've been doing it for about 20 years. Well, we just chose a door to walk into. Tried to do it so that you start at one end and then you work your way through the entire halls. There's 3 halls. We all just wanted to go do the first 2 and then turn around, go outside and do the 3rd hall. And we managed it. What we were planning on doing is doing a recce of everything first, and then going back to be sensible shoppers. There's absolutely no way you can do that in one day though, turns out. So about an hour in, and we realised that actually I think we'd only just done 2 rows, because we were just busy chatting to everybody, asking people questions, meeting people that we'd never met before, and meeting people that we did know, meeting people that we'd only ever talked to online before, so needed to meet in real life. And I think, yeah, wow. It was just really intense. And then you flag, you run out of steam at some point. And I've just done a video as well that I'm going to probably try and put together this afternoon, and will come out before this video does. But it's all about yarn show do's and don'ts, inspired by the weekend, while it was all fresh in my mind. But it includes things like make sure you refuel, because at some point you start flagging and you get really tired and you're hungry and you didn't realise how hungry you were, and you turns out you're really thirsty. And it's because you're just so into it. All the yarn and all the fabulous people and the sheep and the goats. I didn't see any rabbits. I'm sure I've been to Yarndale before and there've been little Angora rabbits just hopping about in their little enclosures. But the sheep are lovely. I'm a bit kind of, I don't know, I was going to say about sheep, but actually it turns out they are lovely. Yeah, I think there's something for everybody at this yarn show, because it's just so vast, and you've got the whole gamut covered. You've got stuff for knitters, loads of crochet represented, which was fabulous, and you've got spinners galore, weavers, there's hand-dyed yarn, there's natural yarn, there's branded yarn, there's independent yarn. Anything you can imagine, it's probably there. And you can probably go to just your favourites, or you can try new stuff. And I think that's really important. Because of its size, I think we got halfway through the day before we realised, actually, in many ways we kind of had to sacrifice the old favourites and the familiars to explore and investigate things that were new to us, just so we could find out more, rather than just be drawn to the things that we're drawn to time and time again, if that makes sense. So for example, there's a lady there who does mosaic crochet blankets, and I mean I've seen them before and I know about them, but to talk to somebody who designs them, and for her to explain the process and show the samples is really interesting. It's not something I've done a lot of, because it always looks really complicated, but I was assured that actually no, it's actually really simple. And that's not the first time, because when I went up and did the Crochet Sanctuary retreat in Cranage, when was that? That was February. That was the week after Unravel Festival. I then drove up to I drove up near Manchester, Crewe, it's a Crewe postcode, and did that, went there, which was a lovely weekend. But Lisa, one of the girls that runs it, was crocheting a Highland cow motif in mosaic crochet, and it was stunning. And she showed me this picture of a sort of like a Scottish landscape with a dragon flying in the sky, and it's the designs are incredibly thought out, yet somehow I've been assured that they're dead easy to do. But I've never looked at it closely before, so it was new to me. I'm trying to think what else was new to me. Just watching somebody teach you how to drop spindle and things like that, and you can just sit there and ask them questions and just watch as they do it and make it look incredibly easy, and I dare say it's not. And all the spinning wheels everywhere, fabulous. Don't think anybody pricked their finger. The other unexpected thing was that I actually bought some fabric as well. I'm going to make a crochet case or a knitting needle case, and I wasn't expected to buy fabric, so that was good. But it was a lady who runs a business called What the Fabric, and it's like it's just really, really nice fabric. I'll show you in a minute what I bought. And Michelle bought some fabric as well. I won't tell you what she's going to make with hers. That's up to her to show off. I don't want to steal her thunder, but it's gorgeous fabric. When we walked in, the very first stall stand was one with a wall of Welsh homegrown yarn wool that smelt beautiful, felt beautiful, gorgeous colours, and I am disappointed that I didn't buy from them, and I wish I had. Maybe next year if I go back, I think probably that will be a priority. But Welsh wool, please. I wanted some and I didn't get any. That, I think that was the Penahan and the Kadu fibre. I don't know if I've said that correctly. My goodness, it was the shape of things to come. I was really excited, and the excitement only grew. I got more and more kind of hyper, and then had to give myself a telling off because I kept getting silly, overexcited, and you start talking really quickly, and my head was turned a lot by all the beautiful things, essentially, and just get a bit manic. But I saw some lovely stands, and I won't tell you about all of them. However, let's go over a few of the ones that I think are really nice. And a lot of these are not new to me, because some of them do travel and cover multiple festivals throughout the year, because that's how they make their money. And it's always lovely to see faces that you know. So Bernadine Graham is new to me. On social media she's known as Me and My Hook, and Bernadine designs crochet shawls and has her own books which are beautifully put together. And if you think about the crochet project that don't run anymore, you're not going to be far off the kind of designs that are produced. And I nearly bought a book, but because it was in our very first 20 minutes of arriving, I think even we might have only been there 10-15 minutes by that point. It was like, no, I'm not allowed to make my first purchase right now. So I didn't buy it, and I kind of wish I had. But we just didn't go back all the way back, because we thought we were going to do a recce and then come back and do the shopping thing, and it just never happened that way. So I didn't listen to my own advice, actually. But well, I don't think I'll be able to do this in order, you know. I've written a list. I've got a list. Here's I'll just go like that. That's my list. That's just because I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And it's embarrassing notes. So at the very top, I've written on the list already, and then I went, oh, I'm going to mention phase proof from the body. So I've done that. That's that mentioned. But James Makes Things. Hi, James. Really lovely to meet you. You have glorious yarn. It's so pretty. And again, another one. And I didn't go back and get myself a souvenir skein of yarn. That was gonna be my pretty yarn. Super duper colourful, right? Intense neons and loads of speckles and stuff like that. And there was some neon nips and things like that. Really, really nice, pretty yarn. And that was going to be me going back buying one of those. Didn't happen. Really disappointed. I do have enough yarn to last a lifetime, but maybe I'll treat myself next year, or at another yarn festival, or for Christmas, because he's just announced an advent. So James Makes Things, or it's James Makes Yarn for the website, but it's really pretty and colourful, and he was a lovely person in real life too. John Arbon Textiles. Probably, well, I'm always going to go and visit John Arbon Textiles yarn stand, always, and that's where Faye was anyway, and we were going to go and pinch her bum, but weren't sure if that was appropriate or not. So instead we just went, hello, and then spent ages at John Arbon picking and choosing, but also because I needed to buy some yarn for a sample of my Ducky Buzz vest, got to say that carefully, and also because I need a skein of 4-ply knit by numbers for a commission I'm working on at the moment, and I ran out of yarn. the deadline is next week, and I was just like, it's okay, I can just get some at the festival. Now I have had to put it aside for about 10 days because I had to wait for the festival to go and pick up this one skein of yarn that means I can finish this commission for Inside Crochet Magazine. What a fool. I always underestimate the amount of yarn I'm going to need because I don't ever want to end up with spare yarn left over, because I do not need more yarn, she says, having gone to a yarn festival twice already this year alone. Who knows if there's going to be more on the horizon. But yeah, because I thought of that, don't need surplus, I don't need even more. So I had to get that from John Arbon Textiles. So we were there for a long time chatting, and then Michelle bought some stuff too, and a good time was had by all. And then one of the next stops was Cold Harbour Mill, who, so not only do I buy from John Arbon Textiles, who are based in Devon, as am I, then I go and visit Cold Harbour Mill, which is also a Devon-based yarn purveyor, creator, dyer, spinner. They spin, it's an old wool mill. But they're in Devon. They're just like 40 minutes up the road from me. Why do I go to Wales to buy yarn that is on my doorstep? It's ridiculous. But that's what I did. Fun fact is where I believe John Arbon first learnt how to spin wool was at Cold Harbour Mill. So there is a connection there. I said hello to Anna from Along Avec. Anna, who does beautiful yarn as well, loads of beautiful knit samples of lovely sweaters. Ishrat from Fruitful Fusion. They were drawn to Michelle's sweater, which was a very colourful, very fluffy jumper, which I'm sure she will share with you very soon. I've used Fruitful Fusion yarn before, it's really nice. Bird Street yarn. Now, I love Bird Street yarn. The colours are always really, 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 really nice, but I'm not allowed to buy from them. This is my own personal rule right now, because I already have 3 skeins of their yarn and more, but put aside for a project that I still haven't made, and that's been 2 years. I'm not allowed to buy from them, and I'm not allowed to buy from them until I've cracked that open and actually used it. So I wasn't allowed to look at that stand, but I did at the end of the day and swoon a lot. I said hello to, I think she's called Susie from Folkestone Harbour Yarns, and I'm always drawn to Folkestone Harbour Yarns. I feel like we've got this connection because 5-6 years ago I designed a granny cowl, I don't know if you remember, for the front cover of Molly Makes magazine, and I used Folkestone Harbour yarns to make that design. And so every time I've seen her at yarn shows and stuff like that, I've always stopped and said hello. And I did actually buy a whole rainbow of skeins of DK weight yarn from her years ago after the cowl, because the yarn was so interesting and lovely, and lots of plant-based dyes, not all of them, but some of them. So I bought loads of her skeins, and this time around I was telling her that I've made them all into granny squares and it's going to become a jumper soon. So there's that. Her stall's lovely. It's got loads of granny square stuff and crochet stuff. So crochet is strongly represented, which I think is amazing. It's really nice to see a yarn festival where there's so much crochet on display. And I do walk past stands if they only have knitting samples. If I see crochet at somebody's stand, I know that they welcome all crafters. So that makes me a potential customer. Cambrian Wool, I was pleased to see them. I mean, obviously that it's a Welsh yarn firm company, but I've used their yarn in my Quayside shawl that I made for a lovely book. It was Wool on the X. They did a pattern book so that money could go to local charities and things like that. But I designed this in Cambrian wool, which is a shawl. that looks like that. So that's Welsh wool, and I'm tempted to have some in stash at some point, but I didn't buy any yesterday. Garthenol were there, but again didn't stop because I've used their yarn before. I have their yarn in my stash, and that kind of was an excuse to walk past, because if I went there I would have bought yarn. I have their yarn I've bought in previous yarn shows and not used yet. Not allowed to buy from them, not until I've used up what I've already bought. I did not buy from the Camel's yarn, but I love the yarn that they dye. It's really beautiful, and I think it would work really well for crochet. I had to swerve away from ginger pink yarns as well, but I am drawn to that yarn, you know. Maggie and Me, who I've seen at Stitch Fest Southwest, I saw them at Wales yesterday. Loads of crochet represented in chunky yarn, really interesting and different to other stuff I saw there. Pineapple Fibre Art is another crochet designer who designs and creates kits, so you can make motifs to put in circles, what are they called, rings, hoops, held at tension, so that you have these beautiful decorative crochet motifs that you can put on your wall and things like that. I've mentioned River Knits, but I didn't buy from them because I have the yarn from last year. And I'm not going to tell you about anybody else because there were loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads, and why I can't go through all of them. But I will tell you who I bought from. Is there anyone? And I will show you my yarn. I think my first purchase was the John Arbon textile stuff. Yeah, it was. So let's get that out. Yarnadelic worsted weight. I've got 4 skeins because I did not want to run out. I think potentially I might only use 3 for the project that I'm going to make. I am using it in the colourway The Beautiful Ones. This comes in a sport weight as well, which I've used for mittens, and it is hard wearing. The stitch definition is awesome, and it doesn't fluff and go crazy. It doesn't pill particularly badly at all. I was going to say it doesn't pill at all, but it does a bit. All wool does, so it would be a lie. So it does a bit. But it's lovely, the stitch definition and the warmth of a fabric this creates. It's really good. And it smells nice too. It's 100% Falklands corridor. I was going to say merino then. It's Corridor. And it's 216 metres for 100 grams. Now, the reason I have got this is because I do have a vest called Ducky Fuzz, which I released a couple of weeks ago, and it's made in a Surrey alpaca held with nothing. It's strong enough and thick enough that it creates a really lightweight fabric that isn't too tricky to work up, but it's still fluffy. And a lot of feedback I got from testers was that it wasn't that it was hard to work with, it's just different to work with. And I think a lot of people thought that you would just pick up, just crochet, and boom, you'd have a vest in no time at all. But actually working with fluff on its own is quite a slow process, slower than normal. But because it's got no sleeves, it was still quite quick. But I want to come up with a version of that vest that isn't using the Surrey alpaca. I think it would probably be a bit more inclusive for makers if I use yarns that are not going to be tricky on, I was going to say tricky on their hands, but it's difficult because for me, I didn't find it too difficult. I just found it different. I did have to slow my stitches. I did have to hold my fabric in a different sort of way, but you adapt. But I don't want everybody to experience that if they don't want to. So I want to do a version that, this is a version that is it uses Cascade 220, I think, which is like an Aran weight yarn. This is completely different to the Suri alpaca. And it kind of fits in the same way, you know. This is the Suri alpaca. I wonder if I have... So this is completely different to this. Boop, boop, boop. But this was 200 meters per 100 skein. 200 meters, yeah. And so I haven't even measured a gauge swatch, don't tell anyone. But I looked at it and went, yeah, I'll give that a go. So I've kind of made it, I still haven't measured a gauge, so I don't even know if it meets. But I wasn't 100% keen on the armholes on this one. And when I've had to redo the sleeves because I didn't, don't shout at me, but I didn't count the stitches. And it turns out that they looked awful the first time I did it, once I'd blocked it. And it wasn't until I counted the stitches that I realised I had about 10 extra stitches on each armhole. And those 10 extra stitches meant that this is all gapey and flappy. But now I've reduced it, it's actually not too bad, but it's still a little bit gapey here. I think you could probably forgive it though. Once it's relaxed, because I blocked this is blocked, but redoing the ribbing on the armholes, that's not reblocked now. So I think it would probably chill out a bit if I did that. But it's Ducky Fuzz in a non-fuzzy yarn. But I'm pretty sure I met Gage with, I did bother Gage watching this because, I don't know, I'm quite a contrary person by the sound of it, aren't I? Don't have it. This is my pile of gauge swatches for 2 different garments. I kept going, no, 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 not quite right, not quite right. But I do try and do gauge swatches to try and have as many different yarn substitutions as possible. And then if I meet gauge in something, and then it gives me an idea for other yarns that will be suitable. So I get a bit obsessive sometimes. Yeah. But if you have a look at, it's a good job I haven't sewn in my end. I couldn't find the yarn ball for this, but I can find the ends that I haven't sewn in. Can you see the difference? Isn't that crazy that they're both so different? Yet I ended up with a very similar gauge. Absolutely bonkers. It's all the fluff. It's all the fluff you see. Fills in the gaps. Yeah. So yeah, pretty sure that's Cascade 220. Doesn't feel like it's the superwash version, but you never know. Don't have the label. This, by the way, is this is Suri alpaca fluff from Mamie and Florrie, and I only needed 2 skeins to do my Ducky Fuzz vest, which I thought was brilliant. Fluff goes a long way, and actually the meterage is, I think it's about 400 meters. Is it 400 meters? I was looking for my phone to check, and I'm talking to you on it. Can't remember how many meters. I want to say 400 meters per 100 skeins, which makes it sound like it's a fingering weight yarn, but it comes out a bit like an Aran weight when you work with it. So this is going to be one of those vests, and because this is 216 meters per 100 grams, I'm going to need almost double to get the same yardage ish. So that's why I've bought 4 skeins, because I might bust open that 4th skein This is worsted, so it's sort of slightly lighter than Aran, isn't it? Which means I think it will make a good vest and like a good size and meat gauged nicely. What's the other? Oh, I was going, where's my other John Arbon thing? And it's downstairs because I'm going to wind it if it's for my secret commission. They've also done something really, really generous. And both Michelle and I were given a skein of their new yarn, which is called Seafarer, and it's very nice indeed. I think this launches in September with 24 colours. I don't know what the colours are. I don't actually know if they've decided on all of them yet, but it is very nice. It's 90% British wool, and then in brackets it says Exmoor, Bluefaced Leicester, Devon close wool and Romney, and there's 10% silk in it, which is why it feels really good. It's a sport weight yarn. It's 300 meters per 100 grams, and this one is this light grey is called Kelpie. So I think all the yarns are named after sea creatures. So I know that Michelle has another colour. Oh, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll find out. And I think, are going to do a crochet challenge, and we've told Faye that she's part of it too. And so me, Michelle and Faye will do a crochet challenge where we have to come up with a crochet design for this skein. And maybe we haven't, and that's all we've discussed so far. I may suggest an idea as to what the challenge may be. The guys can also suggest different options for what the challenge could be, and we'll come up with something. It has to be using one skein of this sport weight yarn, but to be honest with you, this will go far, I think. So it could be a mittens, it could be a hat, it could be a cowl, scarf. I draw the line at socks. I'm not doing socks, and also I don't know how strong is silk on its own enough to be strong enough for socks. I don't you'd need a bit of nylon in, right? I'm not a great maker of socks. I don't have much experience in socks because I don't. So can't comment. Launching September 25, it actually says it's a preview yarn. So how special is that? It feels very nice. And it's got a halo on it. I don't know if you can see that halo. Hello. So that's Seafarer. What else do I have in my bag of tricks, I hear you ask? Well, oops. Next stop was, as I say, Cold Harbour Mill. And I bought this, which is a bit unusual for me. I've gone and done a lot of natural stuff. Not, bear with, because there's some bright stuff on the way. But I think I'm becoming more sensible or boring, or not boring, that's wrong, sorry. I'm becoming more, let's call it classic as I get older. But also, and I don't know if I've ever explained this before, but I'm Zines and Roger, right? They're both my nicknames, by the way. But only certain people call me those nicknames. And I've always thought of Zines and Roger as two separate personalities. So you've got Zines, and Zines is outgoing, colourful, and like colourful and jazzy and weird colour combinations and like bold colour choices and patterns. And Roger is a sensible one who does maybe not quite so much colour, more considered crochet stitches together and less daring maybe. Two parts of my personality, and Roger seems to be coming out to play a lot more at the moment than Zines. And sometimes actually I like them both to be represented. So this is very much a Zines shawl, but I'm going to do a Roger I'm going to do a Roger version as well. which, as I say it out loud, say it out loud sounds bloody ridiculous. Anyway, so I've got this I'm going to swatch it up because I want potentially a navy jumper, but also with the leftovers a hat, because I'm thinking my January hues hat with this navy and these in stripes. But I don't know, this is sort of like a mixed bag of a bundle, and they're not particularly fussed about making them all DK or all 4-ply, so I think it's a mix. But I'm not too worried, and I'll just play around and find out. But I thought that would be a fun thing to do. This is a double knit, and they do 2 yarn bases, or 3. This is the Shetland, and then they do a blue face Leicester, which is this one. Or is it this one? This is the blue face Leicester. This also I want to swatch for the same jumper to see if I meet gauge. And because it would be nice if it was a Devon wool, you see, for me being in Devon. And then they do another one, which I've forgotten what it is, but there's a third. So they do blue face Leicester, they do Shetland, and then they do something else. This is Zines to the Roger. Oh my gosh. Now, I did a little internal eek when I handed over my card because I didn't realise how expensive it was, but I went for it anyway, because it's daughter of a shepherd who I have admired for a very long time, and I just love the aesthetic. It's just really cool. It's 100% wool, which is 75% Hebridean and 25%. Well, I want to say it's warbles, but I think some people might say Zwartbles. It's warbles, right? I'm not sure. I mean, yesterday there was a lady on stage at the sheep walk that they did, who was showing off people's designs on a little catwalk, wool stuff. And she said one of the things was made from masham, and now I'm sure it's supposed to be pronounced matham. But does it matter? Anyway, so this is a 4-ply, 400 meters per 100 grams. And I'm going to do an all natural coloured, it's a rich chocolate brown. It's really beautiful. And it was funny because we were chatting, I can't remember her name. I think I want to call her Rachel, but I'm not sure. Might be entirely wrong there. But we were chatting for the longest time, and I'd already bought everything that was on my shopping list at that stage. It wasn't a very big shopping list. The only thing I didn't have was in it, and I've written on that, yeah, three skeins brown yarn for a sensible version of this shawl here. And I was stood there chatting to her for ages before I went, oh, my shopping list says 3 skeins of brown yarn, and here I am chatting to you stood in front of 3 skeins of brown yarn. I wanted double knit, to be honest with you, but they'd sold out. She'd sold out of her double knit. She only had 1 left. So I went with the 4-ply, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it would be really elegant in a 4-ply. And it'd be really good to see the difference between how it's done in the DK versus the double knit. The DK versus the 4-ply, sorry. That's daughter of a shepherd. The other reason why I'm so enamoured is because out of the whole show, she was the only person that had this on her stand. And this is a Laine publication. Everybody says Laine, but I think, is it French? It's French for wool, isn't it? You probably don't pronounce it Laine in French. It's probably like lamb. And so I was delighted to see it, especially it was only published on Friday. Let's Crochet a whole magazine dedicated to crochet, modern crochet design, and seeing as it kind of also meets the very end of Morit's publications, it's kind of like a little bit of a hint of light on the light of the end of the tunnel, if you will, on the sad sort of end of Morit, which was lovely and exciting to see crochet published in such a high-end way, to have then Laine come out with this the 17 different designs, and whoops, I happen to be in it. There's actually some really nice, there's an article about the granny square in here which I found really interesting to read. It's very easy to check out the images. This is not mine, but it's lovely. It's interesting. You can go on Ravelry and have a look at the designs in more detail, but there's an absolute balls up with my pattern because it's not falling under the right category in Ravelry, and I cannot get it to link to the right page on Ravelry. So my design is not being featured alongside everybody else's, and I've emailed them 4 times and it's still not fixed. And I don't know if it's because something genuinely is like weirdly wrong and they don't understand. Something fishy's going on. Don't know what it is, but I cannot. I've tried editing it. I know how to connect something to a publication. It's just not showing. It's not there, and it's not letting me. And I don't know what to do about it, so I'm just going to have to forget. But here you go. I'm just looking. I'm not going to show you every single pattern, but here, have a look at these: the hat and the top. Let me skip forward to mine. There's loads of different designs. Here you go. This one is designed by yours truly. I hope you can see that. So it's an oversized crochet t-shirt called Sheila, and I've never designed anything with quite so much positive ease before. It's like 30 centimetres positive ease on the main body, 15 centimetre positive ease on the sleeves, because the idea was to make it really slouchy. I could have even done with making it a bit longer, but then it would have almost been like a little mini dress. It doesn't suit me. I have it, and I'm really gutted because I think it's it's so big. I'm so not used to wearing items that have loads of positive ease. I mean, I prefer fitted things because I do. But they sent me the magazine, and then my top arrived with it as well. So I have the top now. I just tried it on about an hour ago, and I was just like, whoa, yeah, it's big, it's big. But if you like that sort of thing, awesome. So this is another, a little sidetrack moment of showing off my top. Maybe if I do a sort of like a podcast at some point, then I'll show it off in a bit more detail. But I was really pleased to see it. It's got a little button. Oh no, it's in, stupid woman, it's inside out. I might write a blog post about this actually, because Sheila was my nana's name. That's why I've called it Sheila. Lovely button detail at the back. And the reason being is because if it wasn't quite so oversized and it was more fitted like my normal, maybe some of my other designs, not that I've ever designed a crochet t-shirt actually, but my nanny, I've got photographs of her, and also in my memory, she always used to wear like greens and turquoises and light teals and things like that. And she used to wear these little little hand knitted tops that she had made with beautiful lacework in, that were kind of like 1940s inspired, because I guess that's when she was a young woman. And I thought it'd be a really nice homage to that. I thought it was quite nice, but like the final outcome is not that close to the source of inspiration. But nevertheless, I still wanted to name it after her because the idea came from the tops that she used to wear. And then alongside that as well is the motifs like this here, I used in my sister's wedding dress that I made the top part of, which I have a blog post about. If you want to have a read about that, I can link it. So there's some elements also lifted from the bodice that I crocheted for my sister when she got married last year, including even like the neckline, how I wanted that to be. I've lifted from her wedding bodice top, which is pretty nifty actually. I'm really pleased with that. I've just found this on the floor, which is my Road to Nowhere shawl, and this is the first iteration of that shawl, but that one uses a different stitch pattern on the main body of the shawl. This one's more of a shell stitch, and also this is single crochet back loop only, American terms, whereas that's half double American terms in the front third loop, quicker and easier. I refuse to do single crochet back loop only again, going around a whole shawl, because this was painful. But do you know what? I mean, I loved it so much at the time. I did make 2 shawls, so I did make it twice. All of those stitches. But this is asymmetric, and I wanted one that was not asymmetric. I want a symmetrical version this time. So I'm doing a Mark II. This can be some other name that's like Road to Nowhere, but not Road to Nowhere, and I can't think of it yet. Maybe just I'll just call it Road to Nowhere 2. I want a different version, that's all. And I've been thinking about it for a really long time, like years probably. And that was really soothing to work on, like a really nice palette cleanser that I really enjoyed making. And also this is blinking massive. That one's not as big, but maybe I'll make one that's big. I don't know. Got sidetracked because what I want to do is show you my fabric. What the fabric? So, what a lovely lady. I don't remember her name. Did I ask for it? No, probably not. Sorry, lovely. It's nice, isn't it? So, 1/2 metre of these two I've got, and then I've just got a fat 1/4 of this, so I could do some pockets. I'm thinking, as I said, I think I'm going to do a knitting needle case because it's my birthday on Saturday, and I've asked for some interchangeable knitting needles, and they'll need themselves a little home to roost. But I also thought about doing another hook case too. See how much fabric I use up, but it does mean I have to get my sewing machine out. I haven't got any space. Haven't got time, haven't got space. I'll have to make both, won't I? I'll have to make both, time and space. It's good though, and actually not too expensive. So that's my Wonderwool Wales yarn haul. Let me splice in some video footage of my visit, so you can have a look. Not much, just a bit, because I don't want to walk around with a camera all the time because it's quite rude, and also I want to see with my eyes, not through my phone. So I didn't do very much for that reason, and the other reason being is that I was frightened that I'd run out of battery, and I needed battery on my phone to get home because I was using the sat-nav because I didn't know where I was, and I was really frightened that I wouldn't have enough charge on my phone. And no, I do not have, no, I was going to say I didn't have a cable to charge my phone in my car. It's not true, I do, but it's about that long. And so when I plug it in down by my side, well, the phone has to be down by the gear stick, and it's dangerous. I can't see it from there. I have it on, you know, stuck on the dash, so I couldn't use my battery, so I couldn't make lots of little films, but I think that's probably worked out for the best, to be honest. But it's okay, because actually I got to Bristol on my way home and I realised I still had like 50% of battery left, so I'd been very modest in my usage, and that meant that I could switch my tunes back on, because I'd actually been driving in silence for about an hour and a half as well, just over, to try and conserve, save the battery. And as soon as I realised, as soon as I knew where I was on the M5, Bristol to Exeter, boom, I was having a good time listening to my tunes. Before I show you the, that, little goats and wall stands and whatnot, should we have a quick press pause, go and make yourself a drink or something like that? I've got a cup of water. Let's talk about Unravel 2025 yarn haul. I'm going to make this short and sweet, because I have been talking for ages. First off, this is a caked up skein. This is the only thing I think I've caked up, because I was saving this for a special occasion, i.e. now. So this was the only thing I caked up, because I wanted to swatch with it, because I thought it would work for a new jumper design that will come out in the autumn. Unfortunately, it doesn't meet gauge, it's too small, but the fabric it created, let's get it the right way up. The fabric it has created is lovely. It's really, really nice. It's got a beautiful drape. I can't remember, it's called, I think it's Pendle. And I can't remember the name of it. What a numpty. If I find out, I'll put it on the screen, but I've lost the label. It's a sport weight yarn, and I thought that would work, and sadly it hasn't. So this will become wrist warmers, I think. It's a beautiful brown colour, which I love brown. It feels really soft. It's got a beautiful movement in it, and I could yeah, it's really nice. Shame it didn't work out for what I needed it for. But you know, this pile of swatches I might put together one day. I can put all my swatches together. I've got another bag of swatches somewhere that I hope I haven't, I don't know, somehow I wouldn't have got rid of them. I wouldn't have gotten rid of them. I just don't know where they are. But I want to join them all together into either a blanket or a something. This is the Cascade stuff I was telling you about. Yeah, it's Cascade 220. But whereas the John Arbon Textiles is 216 meters per 100 grams, this is 200 meters per 100 grams. Softens up when washed and blocked, like I said. It's still a bit. Okay, what am I going to do with this? It's well lush. It's so nice. I've got no idea what to do with it. I saw 2 stands that had this yesterday. This is the Zakami yarns, but I saw one undyed version along Avec Anna, and she'd made a vest top, a tank top, like my ducky bars. And James Makes Things had used this for another sleeveless tank as well, so same idea. They're so hot right now. But I only have one skein. And do you know what? I think it looks so beautiful, twisted up. I don't actually want to use it. I just want to look at it and squish it. This could be like its own little teddy bear where I just cradle it. I'm happy for that to happen for a long time. But ultimately, I should use it at some point. Perhaps a hat. Perhaps a knitted hat. I don't know. But it's really pretty. I haven't untwisted it yet, because even just like this, I just think it's yummy, scrummy. Oh, I've just seen something else as well. And sorry, there's some more sensible purchases. There's some more Roger items in here. I have these. This is the little grey girl, and it's a high twist 4-ply in Raphael, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. And then I have this, which I think it's undyed Zakami yarns. If you get undyed yarns, it's quite often cheaper. Not the case for Daughter of the Shepherd, which I think the processes involved in that are hardcore, and hence the cost. But this is undyed, I think, probably, and she does it herself. I don't know more about it. Whereas this, I think, is probably purchased from a company that does it. Anyway, Zakami yarns, 100% naturally great baby llama fingering weight. And I'm going to do, one of these will become a cowl and one of these will become a shawl. A long time ago I had a design, in 2020 in fact, called Brighter Future. I think I've cursed everybody because ultimately our future has not become brighter, has it? So I do apologise for that. But I wish to revisit it to make things better. So I'm going to do, and also it didn't do very well either, even though I think it's a beautiful design. But if I redo it in different colours, different yarns, maybe I'll have more success, as will all of us. Storage low. Oh, I'm talking too much, sorry. I'm nearly at the end, I promise, and then I'm just going to stop, and then if I forget anything I'll come back with another episode or something like that. But I bought these from Mamie Florrie, absolutely stunning, and I love them. All right, I know the storage is low. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them, but I'm just in love with them. And again, I think I might just cradle these in my arms as well. Look at that blue. Absolutely love blue. Do I love blue, electric blue and this sort of blue and all the other blues in between? Do I love it more than the greens right now? Possibly. But green has a place in my heart forever, as does brown, but also blue. Swoon! And then these, not from Unravel. These are from the Crochet Sanctuary weekend. They are the hook and Cwtch. Oh my gosh, she's Welsh. The connections are everywhere. It's amazing. These are little minis, semi-solids, 85% super wash merino, with the rest being nylon. Don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I think they're gorgeous. I've also got another skein that I started working up a thing in UV yarn, of all things. I'm not going to show you that today because I'm not. And then, oh bugger, that's not everything. I also have some other yarn, but it's somewhere else, and now I'm rushing because I'm going to run out. Just going to run out. We went to a shop in Farnham, a wool shop in Farnham. I'll put the name up on the screen because I can't remember what it is, but I bought these. This is neon yellow. It looks boring yellow. It looks boring yellow in real life, but this is neon yellow. Pip, Baramu. I'm thinking like a contrast in something, just an edging. It's just really nice, and it's proper woolly wool. Some might argue that it was a bit crunchy, but I'll see. And then this, just because, I don't know, it's the Shopple stuff, 50 grams. What might one do with this? I don't know, but I also bought, because I don't know where this knitting thing's coming from at the moment, but I bought this. And mostly because of stuff like that. And then I did buy like maybe 2 or 3 other balls of wool at this yarn shop, so I could swatch with them and find out how they reacted, how they worked, because I'm curious and I want to know. It's quite a lot of yarn, isn't it? I realised that this is quite yeah. I mean, I couldn't afford yesterday, but I bought it anyway. I just wanted it. And like last month, I had a card bill for 450 quid and it wiped me out. So I'm probably now back at 0 with a month to go before payday. what are you gonna do? We've got food in the cupboard, and I need to redo my car. Once I've redone the car and bought a food shop, I don't actually have to go anywhere for the next week, month anyway. So you only live once. But that's it for me. I'm not allowed to buy anything else for at least 6 months. I think I've got plenty to keep me going. Right, I think I'll call it a day there because I have been talking for a very long time, and I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope that you enjoy the thing I'm going to add on now. It will only be another like 4 minutes, if that. It won't be very long at all. And if you've watched all of this, you may as well stick around for that too. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you again soon. Thank you very much. Cheerio. Bye bye. It's not crochet though, is it? It's not crochet.
That's true.
Oh, blimey, I'm going to be famous. Front row, please.
We're about to do the air ambulance draw. Alright, this is down near the end of the shoot walk. So please come along and support. And who knows, you might have got the lucky winner. And apparently there are 9 prizes. So we're about to make the draw.
I like his little face over at the back gasping.
Folkestone. I wanted to just. Look, street parties. Oh, all from the shop.
That's awesome.